John Dickerson is with us now from Washington. So, John, we heard Senator McCain raise some concerns about the process behind this ban, but it was interesting he didn't fully reject it. What are the trends that you're seeing emerge in the response from Republican lawmakers?
Well, there are only a small number who have rejected it. Really, Senator Ben Sasse has had the harshest language. Others have said, it needs to be fixed. Congressman Dent has also has not approved of it. What I thought was interesting about what Senator McCain said, he had a couple of things. One was the rushed and confused nature of it. There is a cost to, his argument was, to all of the activity of the early parts of the Trump administration. And the question is whether those costs overseas are irrevocable, or not irrevocable, but do lasting damage, which is to say that if this gets characterized, as it has been, as a Muslim ban, the White House can argue the opposite end of that and maybe even argue it expertly. But the impression sets in overseas. When George W. Bush mentioned once this crusade, he used the word crusade when talking about the response after the military response after 9/11. The White House spent years coming down off of that use of that word because of its connotations of a religious war against Muslims. There tend to be indelible results of fast action, and that's what Senator McCain was suggesting might be the case, in addition to the particularities of the actual order and the way it was carried out.
Well, John, on this notion of perception overseas about this, you asked Reince Priebus about the White House's communication with other agencies over this ban. Why is that significant?
Well, it's significant because Reince Priebus started at the beginning of our interview. I said, is this a message beyond the specifics of the ban? Is this really the America First message? This is Donald Trump's first big decision that has international ramifications, not only with Muslim nations, but also U.S. allies. So this is a symbolic act as well as a specific act. And Reince Priebus said, absolutely, this is what America First means. Well, if that's what America First means, it's creating some uncertainty and excitement and maybe even fear in foreign capitals. Usually, if that's what you're going to do, a White House gets in touch with at least ambassadors or U.S. ambassadors here in America or U.S. ambassadors overseas in affected countries, or does something to soften the blow. Particularly when it's early in an administration where you're sending messages that might get misinterpreted and leave indelible impressions. There didn't seem to be, after asking the Chief of Staff several times about that, any real outreach in terms of trying to take care of those parts of diplomacy.
And, John, there was some particular confusion over what this would mean for green card holders. What kind of clarity did you get on that from Reince Priebus?
Well, at the end of the conversation, my understanding is that green card holders from those 7 countries will continue to get, or will get a new kind of vetting, and then it will be in the discretion of the Border Patrol agents to decide whether to let them in or not. That is different from what the Chief of Staff suggested in his first answer to the question, which is that, well, this is the kind of, Border Patrol agents ask questions all the time, and this will be in their discretion to ask the questions or not. That's not my understanding of the directive they've gotten from the White House, that the Department of Homeland Security has gotten from the White House on how to enforce this. It's that there will be the scrutiny, and then if the scrutiny doesn't lead to any issues, then people will be let in. The challenge, of course, is that a green card is supposed to confer certain rights on the holder, and so those are in tension with that kind of thorough vetting.
All right. John Dickerson in Washington for us. John, thank you.
Thanks, Elaine.